What is going on, guys? It's savagehollows bringing you another Forza 6 video, and in today's Forza 6 video I'm going to be talking about power laps or hot laps, however you want to call them. And I'm going to be doing this in the 2014 number 3 Corvette Racing CR or C7R. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to slowly walk you through. You would start a race just like you normally would. This is on Road America, by the way, so this is just for Road America, but every single racetrack has these points. So basically what you want to do is every single racetrack has sweet spots on the track, and these sweet spots, what you see right here, are the orange and yellow, sometimes red and yellow, or the red and yellow, sometimes orange and yellow. Rumble strips is what they're called. Is that you want to get the side tires of your car on those rumble strips, and those will sometimes give you extra grip, sometimes they'll make your car spin out. It just depends on the car. Since these cars, the GT racers and Formula 1 cars, are meant for this kind of racing, they're going to react differently. So you want to not completely slow down in well-handling cars like Indy cars, Formula 1 cars, the hyper cars, GT cars. And you'll see where you should start turning onto the rumble strip, because there will be black rubber marks where it had previously been run over by other cars. And these are all the way around the racetrack, but on Road America, the sweet spot really begins at the turn way back there. And I'm going to do 2 laps around here after this first slow lap. And I'm going to walk you guys through. It's also all about gearing. If you're not in the proper gear, you're not going to go as fast. You have to be accurate when it comes to shifting. If you're using an automatic, you're going to be so slow because you're not in the power level for as long. If you're using a manual, you'll be faster than an automatic because you're in the power level for longer. But you're still not as fast as someone that uses manual with clutch, because when you're using manual with clutch, you can be in the power for the longest, you can get the fastest lap, and you're in more control of your car when you're using manual with clutch, because not only are you steering and controlling the throttle, but you're the whole reason that the car is being shifted into gear, because you have to get on the clutch. The car won't go unless you put the clutch in, and then the car won't go if you shift up into the proper gear. So now that we're done talking about gearing, we're getting ready to start our 2 fast laps in the Corvette around Road America. And like I said before, every racetrack has these rumble strips, every racetrack has these sweet spots that you can almost full throttle it through the turns. Now some turns you can go fast into, but you have to be careful modulating the throttle, tapping the brake every now and then, not going full on throttle into the turn. So what you're going to do here is that I stopped at the start-finish line. You're going to start the race on like you normally would. Hit the gas, go. I didn't realize that I was in second gear, but it's better to practice in these cars because they have such good handling and you can really get a feel for the racetrack in these cars. So what you're going to do is you're going to slow down into this first turn. You're going to hit those tires on the rumble strips and then the rumble strips on the other side. Let your car level itself out. What that means is stop steering the car. Just let the steering wheel center itself. You're going to want to do the same thing all the way around the racetrack. Keep your tires on those rumble strips, and let your car level itself out by letting the steering wheel recenter, and just go around the track like you normally would. And then it comes down to braking as well. I recommend using the braking line. Now, not a lot of people do because it decreases your payout, but with the braking line, it tells you when you should brake. It doesn't tell you which line you should use, it just tells you when you should brake. And it can be helpful in certain scenarios, like you'll see later on in about 3 minutes, or not 3 minutes, you'll see in about 30 seconds actually. So right here, this is one of the power. You have to kind of modulate the throttle, tap the brake every now and then, but make sure you get those tires on the rumble strips. Here's another power area where you can slow down slightly, but still stay in the gas. So here's where the braking line comes in handy, is that here you see yellow, green, red, and I stay in the throttle for pretty much the entire time with the end of braking. So here you'll want to get on the rumble strips and you'll have to get off the throttle slightly, because when you're turning, it kind of slows you down, so you don't actually have to get on the brake. And here you're going to want to hug the outside and hug the inside. And you're going to do the same thing like you normally would. Go around the rumble strips, not necessarily here, rumble strip on the inside, but right here, this is another power area. You can slightly slow down. If you get in the grass, that's okay, because that's just going to help you even more. As you see, that was a perfect turn. Here, you can really get some speed if you exit the corner properly. See right here, I exited the corner properly, kind of hit the grass, but that's okay because it doesn't hamper your time very much. And you're going to want to, you can practice this at Road America, you can practice at any track. I don't know very many sweet spots in any other tracks because Road America is the track that I race at the most. But this is how I get all my fast laps. When I do all my verses, I take the cars to this track and I put them head to head, and I go through the sweet spots. That's how you get the fast laps. Now, some cars are going to react differently. This car has like a 7.1 handling, so it's a really well handling car. It's basically one of those point the nose in the direction that you want to go, and it's going to go there. Other cars like the Bugatti Veyron, the Koenigsegg 1, they might not handle these power spots very well because they're faster, not as well handling cars. So it really just comes down to what car you're using, how your driving style is, what your gearing is, if you're using automatic, manual, or manual with clutch, and how aggressive you are. If you're using these sweet spots, you can be really aggressive. You can go from last place to first place in a matter of a few laps, unless you're racing on like unbeatable difficulty, and then you'll have to really get a little tricky with it. You'll have to modulate your throttle, you'll have to stay in the draft. Now, if you're following someone in the draft through these turns, you're going to want to stay behind them the entire time. What the draft is that slipstream area, and it kind of projects your car forward. And when you're behind them in these sweet spots, sometimes they're going to slow down because they're NPCs and they're not programmed to take these spots for advantage unless you're on unbeatable difficulty, in which case they will. So you might have to slow down. Don't let that discourage you. Just follow through the turn and then pass them on the outside or the inside, or just stay in their draft until you get to a straightaway. So hopefully that helped you with power laps or fast laps, however you want to call them. I prefer to call them power laps just because it sounds cooler. If you guys like this video, tell me, and I'll go race on some other racetracks and I'll show you some other sweet spots on some other tracks. But I hope this helped you, so thanks for watching. See you later.